Hello friends, hope you had a good week. TechManPat here. Welcome to this week's Dirt Report, where we discuss Aussie and world tech news. Now this week I come to you in a bit of pain, so if you think I'm mad or immobile on this side or without emotion, it's not because I'm not enjoying this week's news, but instead I managed to crash my bike. Luckily it wasn't on the road, and luckily I was the only one involved. Grazed and bruised, I bring you today's topics. We have the Australian government doing a Bill Gates meme. Let's see if you can guess what that one is. NBN code does a good thing, surprise! Another app to add to your I am concerned about my privacy box, and Elon Musk wipes. Honestly, I don't know how well that's going to go. And COVID Save has been out for a week in the wild. Let's see how it went. Now remember, if you like today's videos, then tap that like button. If you would like to see more, then please consider subscribing. Let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Telecommunication Infrastructure Internet Progress Award Night, live all around the globe. If you've got the right infrastructure. I can hear you guys. Alright, settle down. Now, we have seen some great countries receive awards tonight, from New Zealand receiving the Cheaper Than Fish and Chips Award for their affordable gigabit speeds. And look, we all know they copied Australia's NBN idea, and of course not the execution. Lucky duckies, those Kiwis, hey? Of course, for the fourth time in a row, Lithuania received the Higher Than Jamaica Award for having the fastest average internet speeds on the planet. And how could we have forgotten the magical speech from the Americans, receiving the Loki Award tonight for tricking their whole country into believing that 5G towers are for internet and telecommunication usage and not for mind control. Good on you, friends. Finally, tonight our last award goes to Australia. This is the participation award for really getting into the spirit of things, but not really achieving anything at all. You see, in a recent report by the Bureau of Communication and Arts Research, the Australian government has estimated that a single person's basic data needs fall between 2 gigabytes and 20 gigabytes per month. Now, please don't laugh. It is a report by the government. You see, that is enough for them to participate in the digital economy. All right, Australia, come up, round of applause, please. You heard that right. It seems that research shows that most people individually only need 20 gigabytes to participate in the digital economy. This reminds me of that Bill Gates quote where he says 640 kilobytes ought to be enough for anyone, referring to the RAM on a computer. Now, you see, today's computers have 4 million kilobytes of RAM on average. Even your mobile phone has more than that, or equal to. Now, the report is quite long, and there are a bunch of things that it takes into account that I or you might not necessarily agree with. So first of all, what do they mean by participating in the digital economy? Well, it is connecting with services that connect people with economic and social opportunities, such as finding a job, pursuing education, interacting with the government, and staying in touch with friends and family. This doesn't include online entertainment. Of course, that's because that's not what the internet is for, after all. Remember that, folks. If you break a tap in the kitchen, you cannot use the internet to research on YouTube or somewhere else on how to fix that leaky tap. Or you can't figure out a formula on Excel? Well, don't worry about it. You can't go on the internet, even though it's due tomorrow, to figure out that formula to get your report done. No, you're out of luck. Hell, you shouldn't even be using the internet for work anyway. Sorry. I might be taking that a little bit further than I really should, but let's read on and let's see what happens. This report mainly looks at retirees and low-income households. I suppose their view might be that people in those situations don't use things like Netflix. I don't know what you do all day. And does note that a large family would obviously go over this amount. So further to our analysis here, let's continue to look at these stats as individual users. For example, if 2 people are in a household, then double that quota. Simple as that. You see, in my opinion, this report doesn't actually seem to take into account that low-income earners depend on the internet more so than those who are high-income earners. Well, for example, many low-income earners are more likely to do things for themselves instead of hiring someone else, using the internet to learn how to do something or fix their computer or leaky tap. And kids should be counted in this too. And even before the COVID-19 situations, they need access to online services. And a lot of families who have kids are in low income brackets. Now, my mind really exploded when I read this line. Based on these data requirements, it appears that the telecommunications market is offering a range of services to meet the basic data needs of low-income individuals. And then they say low-income households spend disproportionately more on telecommunication services. In fact, in 2017, the lowest 10% of households spent around 8.3% of their annual income on telecommunication services compared to 3.3% for an average household. That's right, folks. What they mean by low-income individuals is those in a household that has less than $22,000 per year or less of disposable income. And to confirm, disposable income is income remaining after deduction of taxes and social security charges available to be spent or saved as one wishes. Now, Australia's average is $51K per household. Now, a report by the Australian Council of Social Services found that less than 5% of the households were in the $22K or less disposable income. So unfortunately, this affects a very small number of people, which makes it even worse. These stats show exactly how Australia's internet is one of the most expensive in the world. So let's summarize. This report says that the service providers are adequately providing plans for low-income earners, but then they say that low-income earners spend more on their telecommunication services per year than the average household. So this begs the question, are they actually providing a good service, or is it the lowest plans available more expensive than the average internet expense? The entry-level plans are still expensive, and this report states that plans have been declining in cost. While those market developments overall are positive for most consumers, they cannot necessarily be taken as an indication that overall affordability for particularly low-income groups will improve. Now finally, let's take this report into the real world. Maybe a family with kids. Unlike in this report, services like Netflix and other streaming services such as educational classes, student tutorial videos, YouTube online courses exist, and low-income earners access all these. Some even have access to these at a discounted rate or free through their educational institution or government grants. What data amounts do you imagine actually being used? Well, this report estimates that video streaming totals to 1 hour per week at 1.2 gigabyte. I mean, that's pretty laughable, right? You see, Netflix eats 1 gigabyte per hour of watching. Now, compare that to other streaming services. Those streaming services do not have the budget of Netflix. Netflix is very optimized. They can send you beautiful images with very little gigabyte per hour. But the other services, like educational services, do not have those budgets. So those services will cost you a lot more in your bandwidth per hour per week you watch. But I bet that these people do not consume only 1 hour per week at all. And certainly not 15 minutes per day on social media. We are way more glued to our phones than that. I feel like these assumptions are from like 2010. I have put the link below where you can download the report. These are just snippets I took out of this report, and in my opinion, this report is a little bit out of touch with reality. And I feel like they were maybe from 2010. Now, I have put the links below where you can download this report. These are just snippets of my thoughts and what I took out of this report, and in my opinion, this report is a little bit out of touch with reality. Let me know below what your monthly usage is. I would be interested to know how it compares to these statistics. Okay, let's take a look at some of the smaller topics this week. NBN Co has extended their offer to NBN RSPs, providing them with the additional 40% of capacity at no extra cost for another 2 months. Seeing as many are still working from home and the restrictions have not been lifted fully, this is a very good gesture. The long road to economic recovery will depend on how long companies like NBN Co extend their helpful provisions. Alright, let's move on. These are really small news bites. Tesla's Elon Musk really did a doozy. In a tweet, which the power of Twitter is interesting enough, I might have to make a video just about that. In a tweet this week, he said that Tesla's stock price too high, IMO, which was one of the several tweets that included a vow to sell all his possessions. Now that tweet managed to wipe, there it is, 14 billion of Tesla's value, and then it even knocked off 3 billion of his own stake in Tesla. So, as investors promptly bailed out of the company. For us though, Tesla cars in Australia jumped up in price, not due to that, but surely due to COVID-19 logistical issues and weak Aussie dollar. But still, electric cars need to come further down in price to be the car of choice for the general public. Maybe a few budget models. I mean, after all Apple did it, Tesla should too. Now on to Queensland. They have finally rolled out the trial of the digital driver's license. Now initial reports are positive. The information is shared via QR code to police officers who have the app that can read it, and transfer of information is safer. Unlike the plastic card when, you could potentially lose your details anywhere, and somebody could use your identity in naughty criminal ways. Hopefully, this will protect it. Now, finally, let's take a look at COVID Safe. After all, it's been almost a week, and things haven't been perfect, though better than many other government-funded online ventures. So far, 3 million Australians have downloaded the app, and while there are issues on the Apple side, the number is nothing to scoff at. You see, the Apple iOS version of the app is in question. Is it actually effective? All details say no. You see, the digital transformation agency who oversees the project said that the software works best when the iPhone is unlocked and the app is open on the screen. Can you guys fathom that? Because that's ridiculous. I would say that this is dead weight at the moment. The developers need to wait for Apple to release an update for their iOS that allows tracing apps to work in the background and stay connected to the Bluetooth module and not be turned off by the power management system. It's obviously more complicated than that, but that's a part of it. Many people had difficulty signing up as the confirmation SMS system took a beating. Unable to receive a login PIN, people were stuck. Now, those in rural locations were even more affected as their ability to receive the SMS also depended on their signal strength. So good luck with that. The app also was not available on smartphones with older operating systems due to security and Bluetooth limitations. Now, according to the DTA, for Android you need Android 6.0 or higher, for iOS you need iOS 10 or higher. It's a pretty good region of users, but it still kind of removes a lot of older devices. So, friends, thank you very much, and I apologize for the big one today. I know. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's update. Make sure to stay tuned for many more videos this week as soon as my arm is a little bit more mobile. And if you haven't already checked out some of the great content from last week, tap into that channel below to have a look. And of course, if you like this video, then tap that like button. And if you'd like to see more, then please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and bye!